Hi there friend, I'm Erin Chase from $5 Dinners and I want to welcome you to the channel here. If you're new, welcome. We're all about spending as little as we can on groceries while still eating well and in a healthy way. And today I want to show you how I take bulk ground beef and turn it quickly into freezer meals. So I actually ended up buying 2 4-pound packs of organic ground beef because it was only 40 cents more than the conventional ground beef, and so I grabbed that to get meals into the freezer. So I grabbed that this time and we are going to brown it all up and put it into the freezer. Sometimes when I'm buying bulk ground beef, I will do like meatballs and meatloaf, but today I'm gonna show you how I brown in bulk. So that you can do this in your kitchen. The idea is if you see ground beef at a great price, whether it's on sale or organic comparable to conventional, it's reduced for quick sale, you're gonna wanna buy a couple packages, brown it up in bulk like we're gonna do here, and then get it into the freezer with some other ingredients. So after I get this browning, we're actually gonna go into the pantry and maybe into the fridge and find some ingredients that we can add to this ground beef, so that we have what I call a meal starter in the freezer. For example, taco meat, spaghetti meat, sloppy joe. The meal is in the freezer and then I can quickly thaw and reheat whatever it is that I have in the freezer, whether it's spaghetti, tacos, sloppy joe, something like that. So we will get to that here in a couple minutes, but first we need to get to browning this ground beef. I have 2 larger stock pots here that I'm going to use for this today. And I'm gonna do 4 pounds into each. I think I can fit 6 pounds in here, but I'm just gonna split it evenly because that's how it's coming in the packages. You can peel this or cut it, whichever works for you. I think I'm just gonna peel and drop right into the pot. And then I'm gonna cut off each section as we go. It's perforated, but I'm just cutting because that's fastest. Let's see here. There's the, oh. See, I looked at this and I knew it was, that one wasn't quite separated. Come on, there we go. Trying to contain the mess here in the pot. And I do this too with like, if I'm making meatballs or meatloaf in the big bowl, I'll do the same thing where I just kind of open it all into the bowl and then get rid of the packaging. All right, so that one is done. Let's move on to the second one. Same story on repeat. I love this strategy of browning in bulk. I do it all the time. Not every time I go to the warehouse store, but almost every time, just because, come on now. My arthritis is like, not today. Okay, there we go. Almost every time I go, I just grab ground beef because it's just such an easy and affordable protein. And it's so easy to, you know, flip it into these meal starters. It's also great to, I sometimes will also just do a batch with a little seasoning ratio blend that I'll show you here in a second, but I just like to have the meat already cooked. There's just something about that first step being done, and then being able to decide what to cook later is also great. Like I certainly will do spaghetti, tacos, sloppy joe, that kind of thing, but then sometimes just having brown ground beef that I can toss into like a ravioli bake. If you haven't seen our viral ravioli bake, it's so good, but having that browned in advance, or I can just thaw it overnight the night before or quickly reheat it to then add to the dish. So easy. And then you might be wondering like, why do that? Why just not buy it the week you need it? Because it's probably not gonna be on sale, that's why. And also this bulk price that we see at the warehouse store is 100% cheaper than the store regular price. And sometimes the store sale price is less than the warehouse store. It kind of depends on your region and your store. I've studied this for many years, and buying in bulk is just a great way to save on meat and protein. Okay, I had to let the puppies in. It's almost like they know when there's meat around. Like they know they were outside and it's like, they can't smell this from outside, can they? Anyways, okay, the meat is here and we are going to get this going. So I'm gonna start it over high heat. And I have some seasoning here and I also have a cup of water. And I'm gonna add probably 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water to each one of these pots. Anytime I'm doing a bulk ground beef, I add a little bit of water so we don't get too much sticking to the bottom of the pans. And it also just helps kind of steam it quickly. It will all steam off, I promise. Of course, we can drain it at the end if you're gonna drain it at the end, depending on what percentage of fat of meat you're cooking with. This is 85%, so I probably will drain a little bit of the fat off. But I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to help with that stickiness on the bottom of the pan. Really, you just need to cover the bottom of the pan. All right, there we go. Next is the meat chopper. If you don't have one of these, I have a couple actually, but this is my favorite one because of its long scooper handle. But we're gonna use a meat chopper and break this up. I usually just kind of press and twist until it breaks up into smaller pieces, and then once it's browning, we'll continue to do this, breaking until we get to that kind of crumble that we're after. And while we do that, I'm gonna add a little bit of onion powder and garlic. I actually am out of onions, so I'm just gonna use the last of this bit that I have. I even thought I had onion powder, but I don't. This is left over from something else. And then we're gonna add garlic as well. Typically when I'm browning ground beef, I like to add a teaspoon of garlic powder per pound, so 4 teaspoons into each, since this is 4 pounds. I'm just eyeballing and just sprinkling a fairly generous amount kind of all over the top. And then for the onion, I would normally do a tablespoon per pound, so it would be 4 tablespoons into each one of these. But I didn't have enough, so that's fine. I can either add it later or we'll just use what's already in here. All right, let me incorporate the seasoning in here, and then I'm gonna let this brown for a bit, and then I will be back. Okay, still turning this over every couple of minutes. It probably takes about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how tall, thick it is in your pot to get all of this brown. I think when I do a full pot, it's closer to 20 minutes, but all right, I went into the pantry and the fridge and this is what I found. Okay, we're gonna do a spaghetti, easy. We're gonna do an autumn spaghetti. If you haven't seen this, this is one of our favorite sauces from Trader Joe's. It's like an autumn pasta sauce. It's basically marinara plus butternut squash and pumpkin, and it's just slightly sweeter and less acidic than a tomato-based, fully tomato marinara. This is tomato-based, but marinara with an autumn twist. It's delicious. We love this, so I definitely want to have some of this in the freezer. Also, this does sell out quickly, so getting it into the freezer, I'll buy a few more for the pantry, and then we have this into the winter. Next, I'm gonna do a queso with beef, and this is gonna be to use for nachos later. I'm not gonna use it, I'll probably do 2 meals worth with this small jar, and that way it's not, I don't want it to be like super cheesy beef, but a little bit cheesiness to kind of go with the beef for the nachos. And then I'm gonna do lemon. I have this garlic. I don't normally buy it like this, but I need to use it up. So we're gonna do lemon, garlic, oregano for kind of a Greek-based beef. That we can do like a gyro sort of situation with ground beef. That, and then depending on how all of that shakes out, I might do a taco meat with some tomato sauce and taco seasoning. So once this is all fully browned up, we'll get this going into the meals with these different sauces that I found in the fridge and pantry. Okay, we are getting there. This is pretty close. You can see that water is still steaming off, which is a-okay. Better than, see, there's no charring on the bottom. That's what we prefer. Same story with this pan over here. just let these finish up, and then we will get them drained and ready to add the other sauces for the meal starters. Beef is drained, and I do want it to cool off. So I'm just gonna toss it just to help a little, to help speed up the cooling. I would normally let this sit a little longer to cool off because I don't like to put meals in the freezer or into bags, containers that's warm still. But for the sake of time in this video today, I'm just gonna do this to help speed it up. This pot's not as hot as that one. I'm gonna leave my pinch mitts on this other one. So there we go. Okay, I have labeled a couple bags. I have a Greek beef, a queso nacho beef, a marinara, autumn pasta, and then I found some red enchilada sauce, so we're gonna do that as well. And then I left one blank, so we'll see. So we're gonna do 6 meals worth for these 8 pounds of beef. That's about right for our family and for what I would use this beef for in these different meal starters later. So what I generally do is I get my bags into the bag holders, and we're just gonna assembly line style the beef into the bags, and then add the sauces. So it'll go really fast. And again, we're getting 8 pounds of beef. This will go 6 meals worth for my family. I have 6, but 5 at home, 5 of us at home right now. 1 in college. Sometimes he's around, summer, holidays, whatnot. So sometimes I'm cooking for 6, sometimes I'm cooking for 5. So let me get all of these labeled bags set up. And then I'm gonna use a ladle, just like it's a nice big scoop, and it also helps me evenly sort of measure the beef so that I don't just wanna get it right ratios, right proportions. So we're gonna use a ladle and just go 1 pot at a time down the line. Okay, so handy, love these bag holders, use them all the time. We do have all of these favorite things in the shop. We have the meat chopper and server. We have the bag holders. We have the pinch mitts. We have the flexi ladle. This thing is flexible. It moves so you can dig into the, well, I call it the corner of the pan, whatever. So you can dig into the corner of the pan. So this just is nice. It also, this one actually does have measuring lines in here, but I'm just gonna do a full scoop into each bag. And then do the same thing for the next pot. I think we should get probably 3 scoops into each bag, maybe 3.5. We'll have to see how this measures. The last time I did beef like this, I did 6 pounds. So I did 4 meals and then saved a little bit for the meal that night. Did I get all? Yes. 6. Okay, maybe we'll end up with 4. We'll see here. And then it's gonna be 3, maybe 3 and some change. But you can see how easy and fast this is. You just take, the longest part of this is actually browning of the beef. But if you can be strategic with your timing, then you can get your bags made and your other ingredients pulled together. It really just goes super fast. Okay, this is gonna end up being 3 and some change. I need to give a little bit more to this one because it was only like a half a scoop. All right, let's go back the other way. This is just one of my most favorite ways to save money. In this case, it was with organic beef, great price. Almost the same as the conventional beef price of the product right next door on the shelf. Also a great way just to save sort of bandwidth and time, and having this kind of done in advance. I can be like, oh yeah, all I have to do is pull out the sloppy joe meat and reheat it. Or in this case, the Greek beef, so we can have like pita nachos with Greek beef or gyros with Greek beef into some pita pockets, like super easy. Okay, 3.5. I was close. All right, so let me move this stuff. All right, here we are. I'm just gonna, for my own sake, I'm gonna line up like how I have it here. So like this is the taco, this is the Greek with the oregano and garlic. Just trying to use up this garlic. Red enchilada is down here, here, and here. So now I can just quickly go down the way. Okay, for the one without the sauce, I'm just gonna leave it and decide what to make later. So I am going to press out the air, flatten it down, and seal it up. So this one is just gonna be ground beef by itself. Easy. The red enchilada sauce, I'm just gonna add this whole jar. And then I can thaw and reheat this later. Once this is thawed and reheated, then I will probably do either regular enchiladas, like rolled up enchiladas, or sometimes I do like a layered enchilada bake just because it's faster and easier and a little less time consuming than rolling enchiladas. So let me press the air out of this one. I usually just do a little kind of like musharoo to mix up the sauce with the beef, so that when it thaws, it's already incorporated. So there's meal number 2. All right, next is going to be the marinara sauce. I usually do an entire jar with a poundish. Oh, the arthritis again, you guys. Ooh. Okay, really? The jar is also like condensating because this was in the fridge. Usually this is in the pantry. I'm not sure how it ended up in the fridge. There we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna get a little bit more of this sauce out with just a touch of water. It's probably about a tablespoon or 2 of water. Just gonna swish out all the sauce. Sometimes I'll scrape, but usually I just do kind of that water rinse. Rinse that out, throw that in the recycle. So that's now 3 of these done. I know I'm kind of hiding over here, but I'll show you with these closer ones how I seal the air out of this. There's like an air bubble right here. Come on, buddy. There we go. Okay. So I usually roll and press and seal. There's number 3. You can see how easy this is. This is going to be the autumn pasta sauce. I'm going to do the same thing, the whole jar and then a little water rinse. This sauce is literally our favorite, so I want every bit of it. And as you're reheating this, the water is either going to cook off or just become part of the sauce. So no problem there. Okay, this one you might be able to see better with this camera angle, sorry. Okay. So what I usually do is I seal it about halfway across, and then I kind of fold it to where the meat and the sauce or whatever the ingredients are in here. And then I roll it so I get as much air out of this bottom section. And then I roll it and then continue to seal it off, like just pressing any more air out. And then it's pretty well, it's not vacuum sealed, but it's pretty good for not getting out the vacuum seal machine. All right, meal number 4. I'm gonna actually do the Greek one last just because it involves a little bit more with the garlic. Aha, there it is. I like to think that I'm still 29. My birthday's next week and I'm like, still 29. And then this happens and I'm like, nope, not 29 anymore. I might have to run this one under the hot water. Oh, there we go. All right, this is queso. I'm actually gonna only use about half of this jar. I thought about using it for 2 meals worth, but I'm gonna save this for some chips. Just saying, we're big queso fans around here. So we're gonna save that for chips. I I also didn't want this to be too cheesy for the nachos, so that's that. Let me just do a little mixeroo really quick. And then I'm going to seal this one up. Same sort of like press and seal method. Not the press and seal that you can buy at the store, but this method. Okay, so there's number 4. Look at this magic. Oh, you guys can't even see this. I'll show it to you in a second. It's just off camera, it looks like. Okay, last is gonna be the Greek beef, and I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of lemon juice. I don't want the lemon to be too overpowering, but we certainly want to be able to taste it. This is either going to become, you know, a filling for like a pita bread with some toppings, or like Greek nachos over pita chips. Really good. I am going to measure this lemon juice because I just, again, don't want it to be too overpowering. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons right here like this. So that's 2 tablespoons for a little more than a pound of ground beef. So that's great. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of oregano. There's already a little garlic in the meat. You can always add a little more garlic. In this case, we're adding this garlic. Onion or salt, you can add more of that. That's what I was meaning to say, not garlic. We're about to add garlic. Okay, I forgot my little scraper. I use a paring knife to scrape this. I like this little paring knife because it scrapes nicely, and then it's really easy to get out the inside from the garlic press. It has this little like hooky end. Anyways, okay, we love garlic around here, so we're just gonna kind of go a little crazy here. I'm not gonna use all of this, but a good bit of it. There went the sun. Sometimes the camera will adjust, but it looks much darker in here all of a sudden. All right, so I'm gonna do one more round. That way I have a few more garlic cloves to cook with later in the week. Not sad about this Greek beef. Okay, this is gonna go in the freezer because I already have plans for dinner tonight, but if I didn't, this is what we would be having. Okay, clean that guy. Let's get this put away. And then I'm gonna do a recap for you guys of what we all just put together. I am gonna mix this up a little bit. There's no sense in using a bowl to mix that up when you can just do this, and it's all gonna get mixed together when you reheat it later, so no problem there. You're in my way. There you go. Love those bag holders. They are so handy. This one's a little less saucy, so it's a little easier to get the air out. All right, so there we have it. I think I missed, what is happening? Okay, so there we have it. We have, let me reset this and then we'll do a recap of everything we made, and then I'll do a quick little how to thaw and reheat this beef for using in your meals. Here is everything. This is our 8 pounds of organic ground beef because it was almost the same price as regular ground beef at the warehouse store. So I got 2 packs, ground it in each of 2 large pots, added about a half a cup of water, browned all of that with minced onion or onion powder and garlic powder, drained it off, let it cool for a little bit, evenly divided it into what I have here, 6 meals. You can do however much you need, you know, per meal for your family, depending on your family size. You might get more, you might get less. And then I just went into the pantry and the fridge to find sauces that I could add to these and get what I refer to these as meal starters. It's not necessarily a full freezer meal, but it's the start of a freezer meal. So these are going into the freezer like this. This is just plain ground beef. I'll decide what to do with this later. Red enchilada sauce, marinara sauce, autumn pasta sauce, which is like a butternut pumpkin marinara type of sauce, queso for nachos, and a Greek kind of lemon oregano flavored beef to do later pita chos or with pita gyro kind of situation. So that's what I made. Super simple. I hope showing you like this gives you a sense of how quick and easy this can be, and how it's really not too hard to incorporate this into your kitchen life, while you're preparing other meals. For me, this is a Saturday morning, so getting this going and getting all these into the freezer so I have these meals for later. I got a great price on this, or in this case, organic beef, but regular ground beef, whatever your great price is. Stocking up when it's on sale and doing this is gonna save you lots of money in the long run. Finally, how to thaw and reheat. So you can see that these are fairly flat, which means they're gonna thaw really quickly, either in the fridge overnight, or sometimes I will put them in a bowl of just room temperature, lukewarm water to thaw really quickly. Once it's completely thawed in the baggie or partially thawed in the baggie, okay, once these are completely thawed in the fridge, in the baggie, or partially thawed, I'll transfer them into a skillet or a stock pot, depending on what I'm cooking. Like if I use this ground beef for chili later, I'll just put it in the stock pot, add all the chili ingredients, there it goes. So this is really quick to thaw and reheat and then use for whatever you're doing. Cody's finished slurping the water. I don't even know if you could hear that. But anyways, so buying in bulk, browning all together, and then dividing up into meals and freezing like this is just a great way to save money on the purchasing side. And also when you go to make your meal plan or you go to just grab something from the freezer, you're like, oh, I've got chips for that. We can make nachos really easily because I already have everything else that we need. So it's just a great way to have sort of backup with these meal starters in your freezer. If you have not yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're releasing new videos all the time. You can also go back and watch our Learn to Cook on a Budget series. We have all kinds of great videos on how to choose ripe fruit, how to cut this fruit or vegetable or whatever. So go and check out some of the other videos that we have here on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.